And I realized something, y'all. I realized that Michael Brown Jr.'s blood is on my hands.
That's right. All of us.
In each and every one of our hands.
Yes, Lord.
I'm just as responsible for his death as Officer Wilson.
Yes.
Because I realized myself and my generation, my parents' generation, my grandparents' generation, we sat idly by and allowed institutions to come in and take over our communities.
That's right.
And make our young people feel like they are under siege.
That's right.
I had a whiteboard up with the young people saying, could you please list out to me what you believe to be the biggest issues and obstacles for you? The first two things that were listed, the word violence and the word death.
Wow.
Our young people are afraid. Young person said to me yesterday, young man, I'm not scared to die. I'm afraid to live. You know, Dr. King said that we are all tied together in a single garment of mutual destiny. That means that if I'm doing well, but you're hungry, then I'm not doing well.
Oh, that's right.
That means that if I have a job and I can go to work, but you feel like you are under siege, you feel afraid to go to school, you feel afraid to walk down the street, you feel that you're being followed or being abused by police officers, if you feel that something aggressive is happening to you, then no matter how comfortable I may be, I'm not comfortable because you aren't. We're all tied together. And this isn't a race-based thing. You have to understand what we're talking about here. This is humanity. I've had a gun pulled on me in my life, and it is scary. So just that in and of itself, having someone pull a gun, whether they're a police officer or not, is frightening. So one, you're petrified. Two, we know interactions with police officers are scary, no matter who you are, where you're from, whether you've done something criminal or haven't or whatever the point is. So that's another layer of fear that this young man experienced. Number three, being shot at. How frightening is that? Can't imagine. Luckily, the person who pulled the gun on me didn't shoot it. So I don't know what that level of fear is, but it's a heightened level. Next to being actually hit by a bullet. How painful is that? How horrible is that? Not to mention being hit by 5 more. What's lost in much of this discussion is the horrific, painful death that this young man experienced. He said the future does not belong to those who are fearful of bold projects and new ideas, but rather the future belongs to those who can blend passion, reason, and courage into a personal commitment to the great ideals and enterprises of American society. The future does not belong to those who are fearful of bold projects and new ideas. What does that mean? It means the future does not belong to those people who are afraid. Who are afraid to look themselves in the mirror and say, you know what, maybe I haven't done what I could do, but I can come up with a new plan. The future does not belong to those who are fearful of bold projects, new ideas. What's a bold project or a new idea? Bold project, new ideas, doing something different than what you've been doing. Doing something new. Doing something different. What is a new solution? What is a new level of energy you can bring to bear to solve old problems? If the blood is on our hands, what can we do next? But it's very easy to understand the law. Read the Missouri statutes on what this grand jury is deciding, so you can help educate people about what's really going on. Because what they're really deciding is whether there's enough evidence to establish probable cause for some type of criminal activity on the part of the police or Officer Wilson. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've been to law school, but there's a whole range of potential charges that exist. The young lady she's my elder, but I call her a young lady, sort of walked me around yesterday, and she was an eyewitness. She told me something that really blew me away. And that's that she was there observing young Michael Brown Jr. laying shot on the asphalt. His hand was still moving. There was an ambulance nearby that was sent away. Now, if that is true, if that simple fact is true, then just talking about proper use of lethal force and whether that's the issue doesn't even matter. Because just that fact, there were officers on the scene, an ambulance was not allowed to approach a victim, that's criminal negligence. And that falls under a level of criminality called involuntary manslaughter. It could be first degree, it could be second degree. It's still, if that is true, and you've already established probable cause, it would require a trial to get to the truth. The more we understand these things, the more we can be educated to articulate the fight for truth and for justice. Just running around yelling, "No justice, no peace." What does that even mean?
Right.
When for the last 35 years we've witnessed continuation of violence in our communities, predominantly propagated by us against each other. Or better yet, if it was a community policing situation, the person could have said, "Hey, I know your grandmama. I know you're walking to her house. Would you please get out the street? You're going to really make me drive to your grandmama's house and tell her that you walked in the street against my wishes and against the law? Don't make me do that, Michael Brown." Isn't that conversation much better than six bullets?
Right.
But since, and watch this, since we haven't demanded community policing, since we haven't demanded that police officers that patrol our communities live in our communities, since we have allowed this type of policing to exist in this county, around this country, in neighborhoods that are similar to Ferguson all over the country, since we've allowed that to happen, that conversation didn't happen. But what if 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, we said, no. The type and methodology of policing that's acceptable in this county, we're only going to elect and hire individuals that have this methodology. Then that's the conversation that would have happened. "Hey, what's your name?" "My name's Michael Brown Jr. "Where you from?" "Where you going?" "I'm going to my grandmama's house right here, down the street." "Why you walking the middle of the street?" "Oh man, you're not going to walk the middle of the street now. Hey, what's your grandmama's name?" "Man, I know her. I've been patrolling this area for 6 years. She and I are tight. In fact, I've seen you over her house before. Remember me? I'm Officer Darren." "Yeah. Me and your grandmama tight. You really gonna make me drive there before you get to her house and say, 'Listen, ma'am, your grandson Mike will be walking in the street. I asked him to get out the street. You will get out the street.' Why do I have to have that conversation with your grandma? Why don't you just get out the street?" "Oh, all right." But because we didn't demand that, there's blood running on hot asphalt here in St. Louis.